Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome, brothers and sisters, to a brand new video. My name is Arfat, and today I would like to discuss with you the very entrance of Jesus into Jerusalem. This is found in the Synoptic Gospel. I'll be comparing between Matthew, Mark, and Luke. What was the first thing that Jesus and the disciples did when they first entered Jerusalem? Now, to aid me in this comparison, I have your Throckmorton, very incredible book. It is gospel parallel, meaning you have Matthew, Mark, and Luke next to each other here. And before I begin, I would just like to make a simple request that a lot of Christians, the reason that they do not see contradictions in the New Testament is because they read the Gospels as a narrative, as a flow, and that's one way to read the Gospel as well. But it is also a great way to read the Gospel side by side. Because if you read the Gospel side by side, you start to realize that Matthew, Mark, and Luke is saying a different thing. In this case, Matthew is saying a different thing than what Mark and Luke are actually saying. Why is there a difference there? And a lot of Christians who are not really firm in the academic world of Christian studies, who goes to Sunday church, Sunday school in churches and things like that, who have not been exposed to the critical study of the New Testament as well as early Christianity. They are somewhat oblivious because when they read the Gospels, they like to harmonize. I'm not saying that harmonization is wrong, but you produce Tatian's Gospel then. You read your own, you are producing your own Gospel. That is not what the author of the Gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and even John say. They do not provide you a harmonized account. Like one of the other things that Christians like to harmonize is the birth narrative, the infancy narrative in Luke and Matthew. Um, Almost every Christmas, every household will devoted household to the church would say stories, would tell stories about the birth of Jesus, the miraculous birth of Jesus, and things like that. And they would normally harmonize the story between Matthew and Luke. But that is not what actually Matthew and Luke says. And sometimes when you harmonize the birth narrative, it actually doesn't make sense, and it is impossible sometimes, because did Jesus go to Egypt as in Matthew, or did they go back to Nazareth and not go to Egypt? And so this is a completely different story. Whereas if you harmonize the two accounts together, you are actually creating your own gospel. So now let me bring you to the work of Throckmorton here, Gospel Parallel. um, Matthew chapter 21, verse 1 to 9. Let me just read it to you. When they had come near Jerusalem and had reached Bethphage at the Mount of Olives, Jesus sent two disciples, saying to them, "Go into the village ahead of you, and immediately you will find a donkey tied and a colt with her. Untie them and bring them to me. If anyone says anything to you, just say this: the Lord needs them." Okay? Now, in Mark's account, this is Mark 11, 1 to 10. When they were approaching Jerusalem at Bethphage and Bethany, near the Mount of Olives, he sent two of his disciples and said to them, "Go into the village ahead of you, and immediately as you enter it, you will find tied there a colt that has never been ridden. Untie it and bring it. If anyone says to you, 'Why are you doing this?' just say this: the Lord needs it, and will send it back here immediately." In Luke's account, after he had said this, he went on ahead, going up to Jerusalem. When he had come near Bethphage and Bethany, all at the place called the Mount of Olives, he sent two of his disciples, saying, "Go into the village ahead of you, and as you enter it, you will find there a colt that has never been ridden. Untie it and bring it here. If anyone asks you, 'Why are you untying it?' just say this: the Lord needs it." Now, there are three different accounts here. Two accounts have Jesus asking the disciples to bring a colt, and whereas Matthew has an additional colt and a donkey. And why is there discrepancies here? If a lot of Christians believe that the Holy Spirit inspired um, the author of the gospel, then it clearly doesn't show, because there's contradictions in here. Did Jesus ask the disciples to go and find a donkey and a colt, or was it just a colt? Now, the other contradictions here, or not a contradiction actually, if Christians claim that every gospel is inspired, then why are the words at the end different? If anyone asks you, why are you untying it? Just say this: the Lord needs it. This is in Luke. Whereas in Mark, the Lord needs it and will send it back here immediately. There's an expansion to it. Okay. And in Matthew, if anyone says anything to you, just say this: the Lord needs them and he will send them immediately. Luke doesn't have what Matthew and Mark has, whereby Jesus says that Jesus told his disciples that tell them that I will send it back here immediately once I have ridden it to Jerusalem. Things like to put you in perspective. And so Luke omits the last statement of that verse, because Matthew and Mark definitely has Jesus saying that, asking his disciples to say that I will bring it back here immediately, meaning I will bring back the colt, and as in Matthew, the colt and the donkey here immediately. Now, this is rather well, I'm astonished by this actually, and I don't think the Holy Spirit is at work here, because there's contradictions here. Did Jesus ride on two donkeys to Jerusalem, or was it just one donkey? Okay, a colt and a donkey is pretty much the same thing. Okay, Matthew doesn't understand the Jewish parallelism, in a sense whereby they'll use one word for donkey, for example, and then they will use a synonyms to produce another sentence, and this is Jewish poetry in a sense. And so I would recommend readers to go find Throckmorton's work. Not necessarily you have to buy it, but it's better if you buy to support the work, amazing work here, that has produced this book here, compendium. There's another work here. This is the NRSV, by the way, and the NRSV has a couple of problems, but the passage that I've just recited to you doesn't have any problem. But there are a couple theological biases in the NRSV. And if you would like to know more about this, I've dedicated 3 episodes in the series called The Bias in Biblical Translation. And I used the work of Jason David Bidune for that. Now, there's another book here that I would like to recommend you, similar to Throckmorton's. This one is by Oxford University Press, and this is the literal translation of the Greek. Okay, this is by Ziba A. Crook. Okay, this is the literal translation of the Greek. Now, this again also have minor problems. For example, if you read the Greek, okay, in Mark, for example, the beginning, this is the genealogy of Jesus, the Messiah, okay, and if you look at the Nestle Allen 28 edition, the Son of God is actually in bracket, okay, but in this compendium that Ziba Cook has produced, let me just go to Mark 1:1 here, if I can find it. Yeah, it doesn't have the bracket. Okay, the Son of God here. Look, Mark 1:1. It doesn't have a bracket. Oops, my apologies. It doesn't have a bracket. The Son of God. The Son of God needs to be in bracket, because that is what the Novum Testamentum Graece has it. It should be in brackets. Um, so anyway, Throckmorton is my go-to because this is a literal translation. It took 10 years to produce this book. Ziba Crook took 10 years to produce this book. But this is the more popular one and definitely the cheaper version of it. And this has been widely used. There's another one called um, the it's either produced by Kurt Allen or one more of the Allens, and it is also a gospel parallel, but that is the RSV. But yeah, so anyway, I hope this video has been enjoyable for you to listen to, and again, I would encourage you to read the gospel side by side so that you can start to see all of these discrepancies, and you have to be truthful. If there's discrepancies in the Bible, um, then there's something wrong with the theology that you expose to it. So anyway, I'll see you on my next video. My name is Arfat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.